So in this video, we're just going to talk about the conversion work for a Valmet 308 M88 Hunter to more of a Galil clone and all the work that was done. So starting with the rear, working our way forward. So to start with, the receiver cutout here had to be filled in with these 4140 steel plates. You mill off the correct angle to match the receiver, put them there, and you basically TIG weld it up closed. Once it's all TIG welded, you'll basically cut the proper angle here and here. Should look something like this. The difference between a Galil and the Valmet rear of the receiver is the Galil has a angle here of about 80 degrees, and the angle on the Valmet, it's 84 degrees. So that will have to be corrected when doing the conversion. So after it's been welded and cut to the proper angles, the next step will be to make a hole at the rear of the receiver for the buttstock, the Galil buttstock. And in order to do that, I basically fabricated this jig to put on a lathe. Basically the receiver kind of just sits in there. Then once the whole unit's bolted to the lathe, you'll have it just bore a 28mm hole through into there. The next step, working our way forward, is, if you notice, the Galil receiver has a kind of 45-degree angle for the safety lever. And the Valmet is much like an AK's, where it is more horizontal. So that had to be filled up and then milled to the right angle. Also, what had to be done is there are cutouts here for a safety selector. The Valmet does not have that, of course, so those had to be milled in order to fit. Also next is the Valmet has a few extra holes here, and here on for basically mounting the top cover. Those were filled with 4140 rod and TIG welded closed. Next is replacing the magazine catch. So pulling the magazine catch off the Valmet and putting a Galil style magazine catch there. So the next step would be to widen the magazine well of the Valmet in order to fit the 308 Galil magazines. Just notice it just isn't quite wide enough to fit. But once you widen it out a bit, it fits perfect. Also, what had to be done for the magazine is the front had to be filled in right there. This is the modified Galil magazine. This is an unmodified one. If you notice, there's a cutout there. It's basically for the bullet guide of the Galil 308. And the reason for filling it up is, I'll try to demonstrate, just a dummy round. But basically, because of that cutout, the feed angle is a bit too low, and the bullet might hit the breech face of the barrel. So once that part is filled up, it acts as a bit of a bullet guide, so the rounds present higher and don't slam into the breech face of the barrel. Lift up. So next is some modifications to the bolt carrier. I'll try to show that for you guys. So basically, the diameter of the Galil piston had to be reduced in order to fit the Valmet gas block. Also, the bolt carrier needed to be milled out and relieved a bit in order to fit the trunnion of the Valmet. It's a bit longer than on the Galil. And next would be basically a sleeve for the barrel had to be fabricated, pressed on, and then kind of tacked in place just to fit the handguard retainer. I'll show that for you guys. Just that thing right there. And then lastly, this customer requested that the barrel be cut down to 18.5 inches and then threaded for 5/8 by 24, just to be able to put on different muzzle brakes and compensators. So overall, it was a ton of work to convert this to a proper 308 Galil clone, but I think it's totally worth it. So the only thing left to do so far is to Cerakote the receiver and make it all matching nice. I'll try to roll in some footage of it shooting as well.